Friends, I would like to conclude my sermon by a story. I was living in Zimbabwe as an Africa university student. By the time of a major crisis, economic crisis, 2007. I go back home, my wife tells me that I see new people in my home, and I ask, who are these people? They say, well, they are Congolese refugees who came here. They were told that they needed a surgery at a hospital, but they told them that there is a pastor opposite the hospital, is from your country. You can go there and wait for your surgery. So I told my wife, how can you welcome people we don't know, even if they are our countrymen? My wife said, but I have no choice. They had their surgery, they went back to the camp, and then after a month, another couple came from Congo. They were refugees. And I asked my wife, what's going on here? She said, okay, in the refugee camp, they were told that if you go to the hospital, and if they ask you to wait, we now have a guest house, you go to Pastor Mande's house. And they stayed with us for 2 weeks. They went back to the camp, and after a month, 2 other ladies came. And I came back from school, and my wife told me the same story. And as I go to school, I'm confronted by a friend. He said, but we hear that your house has become a refugee camp. And he said, you know, by welcoming strangers, they may bring good luck to you. And I'm sharing you with this because in our house, we have had death. We lost our first child who died from malaria. And they were telling me how careless I was by welcoming strangers, and this is how I was experiencing bad luck in my family. One day, we didn't have any food in our home. We looked around Mutare. There was nothing in the shelf of the supermarket. So I go to school hungry, and I'm asking myself, how are we going to make it? We have a young child. We don't have food. The whole country is in crisis. I come back home. My wife say, come and see the miracle, thank you, choir, that God has just made. So I'm going with my wife in a hurry, and she takes me to the storeroom. What do I see? I see a bag of cornmeal. If you're from Zimbabwe, you know what I mean. It's sadza, right? I see a bag of sugar. I see a bag of rice. I see a bag of soja beans. I see milk. I see cooking oil. I see vegetables. And I'm like, what is going on? He said, God has visited us. So what happens? He said the refugees received the food supply in their camp from the Commission on Refugee. When they gathered, they said, we have to remember Pastor Mande and his house. So they put the food together and brought the food supply to our house. And it carried us for a month. Who would have thought that the stranger that we almost rejected, God will use those strangers to embrace his love and bring us food to the table. It is only God. It is only God. So this time, friends, I'm going to disturb you. I'm just going to ask you as I conclude. Look at your neighbor. Just give him an embrace and say, God, ever expanding embrace. Give him a piece of Christ. Give her a piece of Christ. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.